It is the 23rd of July. Welcome to the number of the day, which is 0. Nix nada, because the Reserve Bank has changed interest rates by nothing. It has kept interest rates unchanged today, which is quite surprising because virtually every bank in this country, large institutions, economists across the board were expecting an interest rate hike today. And that is because inflation data came out yesterday. The Reserve Bank uses interest rates to try and control inflation. Inflation was at 5%. That was worse than expected. So the bets were really on by yesterday that there would be an interest rate hike. But fortunately for indebted consumers, there will be no change to what you pay on your home loan, your car loan. Even credit cards are affected, although those rates are usually very high and very dependable on your personal credit rating. So let me warn you that the Reserve Bank has put in a caveat. We have seen one interest rate hike this year because inflation has been pushed up, or the rate at which prices are rising has been pushed up by imported fuel inflation because of the oil price. And today we have seen the oil price touch $100 again. It had gone right down to around 72 to pre-war levels, but the US and Iran are fighting again. There are risks to Saudi Arabia's oil supply. So really the situation looks serious again, oil back at 100. The Reserve Bank says if oil remains or averages out at 100 this year, we could see an extra rate hike. So we could see one or even two later this year. Now, if oil comes down again, and hopefully there is a truce again, and hopefully there are movements towards lasting peace, if that is possible. If oil comes down to 78 or averages at 78, then rates could start easing, which would be good news. So there are two different scenarios, and really it's completely out of our hands. The second, obviously better for South Africa because we are an indebted nation. And Debtbusters released some interesting figures this week saying that 53% of all South Africans have debt above 40% of their take-home pay. Rather, the debt payments are above 40% of their take-home pay. So that's what they're paying just to stay afloat. And anything at that level or higher, some are in a much higher bracket, is seen as unsustainable debt. So more than half of us have unsustainable debt. And that's why even a 25 basis point hike could have been really influential for people who are living on the edge. And many South Africans are living on the financial edge. So breathing a sigh of relief for now, but the advice is to get out of debt. And we hope that the war winds down again. There were signs that it would earlier in the year. But if that happens, then things will be looking rosy again. So the number of the day, 0, no change to interest rates.